Welcome, dear seekers of the eerie and unexplained, to Whispers in the Dark, your sanctuary for all things haunting and mysterious. In a world where the mundane often overshadows the mystical, we stand as torchbearers illuminating the path to the unknown, delving deep into realms where reality blurs with nightmare. Here, amidst the flickering glow of our screens and the hum of restless curiosity, we invite you to step beyond the veil of the ordinary and explore the chilling depths of humanity's most unsettling true stories. Tonight marks a spine-tingling installment of our series, for true scary field trip horror stories. Over the course of this journey, we will traverse through time and space, uncovering the dark secrets and spectral whispers that linger among these seemingly innocuous outings. From abandoned asylums to ghost-ridden forests, each tale is steeped in mystery and shrouded in an aura too unsettling to be forgotten. These are not mere urban legends whispered in hushed tones or folklore spun to entertain. No, these are documented encounters, real people, real places, and real horrors that have left indelible marks on those who dared to witness them. As storytellers, our mission is clear: to peel back the layers of fear and fascination, crafting an atmosphere thick with suspense and intrigue. We aim not only to recount these tales but to immerse you in their chilling depths, making every creak of the floorboards and whisper in the dark feel as though it's happening right beside you. With every word, we strive to evoke the same visceral reactions felt by those who lived through these harrowing events, those fleeting moments when the impossible becomes undeniable. So, dear viewers and listeners, prepare yourselves for a journey into the abyss. Here, in the dim glow of your screens, we invite you to open your minds, and perhaps brace your hearts, as we reveal the terrifying truths hidden within the folds of reality. Welcome to a world where the past whispers, the present trembles, and the future remains shrouded in mystery. Let's step into the darkness together, where every shadow might just conceal more than anyone bargained for. In this episode, we will uncover the haunted tapestry of humanity's storied past. Each tale is a thread woven into the fabric of local lore, echoing through the ages and beckoning us to listen closely. Join us as we embark on this chilling odyssey, exploring the eerie corridors of haunted locations that continue to captivate and terrify. Stay tuned, for the shadows hold many secrets, and the night is young. The Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 66. A journey into the unknown. Deep in the heart of rural Illinois lies a desolate stretch of Route 66, notorious not only for its winding paths and sparse lighting but also for the spectral figure that reportedly haunts its lonely stretches. This tale begins with Sarah Thompson, a seasoned truck driver whose nocturnal journeys often took her through this eerie landscape. Known for her meticulous record-keeping and a dash cam that never slept, Sarah's routine drive one fateful November evening turned into an ordeal she would never forget. As Sarah recounted in her viral YouTube testimony, the initial signs of the haunting came subtly. Around midnight, her dashcam captured a fleeting shadow darting across the road ahead. Initially dismissing it as a trick of the light against the dense fog, Sarah continued her journey. Minutes later, the radio, which had been playing a soft jazz station, began to emit static interspersed with faint, indistinct whispers. Disturbed yet determined, Sarah adjusted the frequency, only for the whispers to grow louder, almost pleading. The true confrontation occurred approximately 20 miles down the road. The dashcam footage shows a figure, clad in tattered clothing reminiscent of early 20th century attire, standing motionless at the roadside. Its face, obscured by the brim of an old hat, was tilted slightly towards Sarah's approaching vehicle. Despite her honking and flashing lights, the figure remained stationary until the last moment when it suddenly raised a hand in a gesture that was both a wave and a warning. Compelled by a mix of fear and curiosity, Sarah slowed down, eventually stopping a few feet away from the figure. In a decision she described as not entirely her own, she rolled down her window and called out, asking if the person needed help. The response, or lack thereof, was chilling. The figure simply stood there, its head now fully bowed, before slowly fading into the mist as if dissolving into the cold night air. Sarah's dashcam recorded every second of the interaction, capturing not only the visual disappearance, but also an abrupt silence that followed, contrasting sharply with the previous cacophony of whispers and static. When she reviewed the footage later, Sarah noticed something that sent chills down her spine: a reflection in her rearview mirror showing the figure sitting silently in her passenger seat during the moments she had been addressing it outside. This incident sparked widespread interest and speculation. Paranormal experts who examined the footage suggested that the entity might be a residual spirit, trapped in a loop of its final moments. Others hypothesized that it could be a malevolent presence, using illusions to lure unsuspecting travelers off the road. Regardless of the interpretation, Sarah's encounter with the phantom hitchhiker of Route 66 stands as a stark reminder of the thin veil between our world and the unknown. Her story, supported by undeniable footage, continues to captivate audiences, serving as both a chilling narrative and a cautionary tale for those who dare to travel the lonely roads after dark. It underscores the reality that sometimes, the most horrifying moments are not those we imagine, but those that are undeniably caught on camera, challenging our very perceptions of reality and the supernatural. The Cursed Doll of Bellwood Manor, a plaything possessed nestled along the outskirts of a sleepy New England town, lies Bellwood Manor, a sprawling Victorian estate steeped in mystery and dread. While its crumbling facade and overgrown gardens evoke an eerie charm, the manor harbors a dark secret, one whispered about in hushed tones by locals and dismissed by outsiders as mere superstition. Beneath its decaying walls lies a tale of tragedy, loss, and an object imbued with an otherworldly malevolence, the infamous Bellwood doll. The doll's origins trace back to the late 19th century, when it was crafted by a reclusive toymaker named Elias Bellwood. Known for his intricate designs and lifelike creations, Elias poured his grief into his work following the death of his young daughter, Abigail. The doll, said to resemble Abigail in every detail, became his masterpiece. A porcelain effigy dressed in a delicate lace gown, its glassy eyes staring blankly into eternity. Yet, according to legend, Elias infused the doll with more than just his artistry. He imbued it with fragments of his daughter's spirit, hoping to keep her memory alive. What he unleashed, however, was far darker than he could have imagined. For decades, the doll remained locked away in the attic of Bellwood Manor, its existence known only to a handful of family members who warned against disturbing it. But in the 1970s, the property was sold to a young couple, the Carters, who sought to restore the estate to its former glory. Unaware of the doll's reputation, they discovered it while clearing out the attic. Intrigued by its craftsmanship, they placed it on display in their living room, unaware of the curse they had unwittingly invited into their home. The first sign of trouble came shortly thereafter. Mrs. Carter reported hearing faint giggles emanating from the doll's vicinity, though no one else was in the room. Her husband dismissed it as stress-induced imagination, but the disturbances escalated. Objects began moving inexplicably, books falling from shelves, chairs scraping across the floor, and doors slamming shut with no apparent cause. One night, the couple awoke to find the doll sitting upright on their bed, its head tilted unnaturally to one side, as if watching them sleep. Desperate for answers, the Carters consulted a local historian, who revealed the doll's sinister history. According to him, several families who had previously owned the doll reported similar phenomena, culminating in tragic accidents or untimely deaths. Convinced they were dealing with something supernatural, the Carters attempted to rid themselves of the doll, donating it to a nearby museum. But the entity seemed unwilling to let go. Security footage from the museum captured chilling evidence of the doll's influence. Night after night, cameras recorded the doll shifting positions on its pedestal, its movements deliberate and unnatural. Visitors reported feeling an oppressive presence near the exhibit, while staff members claimed to see shadowy figures lingering nearby. Eventually, the museum returned the doll to the Carters, citing safety concerns. By then, the couple's lives had spiraled into chaos. Their once happy marriage crumbled under the strain of constant fear, and their health deteriorated rapidly. In a final act of desperation, they buried the doll deep in the woods behind their property. For a brief period, peace seemed to return, but it was short-lived. Neighbors reported seeing a figure resembling the doll wandering the edge of the forest, its porcelain face gleaming in the moonlight. Today, Bellwood Manor stands abandoned, its windows boarded up and its halls silent. Yet the legend of the cursed doll endures, passed down through generations as a cautionary tale. Those brave enough to venture near the property claim to hear faint laughter echoing through the trees, a reminder that some curses refuse to stay buried. Whether the doll truly harbors a malevolent spirit or serves as a conduit for the fears of those who possess it remains a mystery. But one thing is certain: the Bellwood doll is a testament to the enduring power of fear, and the dangers of tampering with forces beyond our understanding. The whispering walls of Blackheath Asylum, a descent into madness nestled along the rugged coastline of Maine lies Blackheath Asylum, a sprawling complex of crumbling brick and ivy-covered stone that has earned a reputation as one of the most haunted institutions in the United States. Established in the late 19th century, the asylum was originally intended as a sanctuary for the mentally ill, offering treatment and rehabilitation in an era when such concepts were still in their infancy. However, what began as a beacon of hope soon devolved into a house of horrors, its walls bearing silent witness to decades of neglect, abuse, and unspeakable experiments conducted in the name of science. Blackheath Asylum operated for nearly a century before its closure in 1985, leaving behind a legacy steeped in tragedy. Patients were subjected to barbaric treatments, lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and sensory deprivation, all performed without consent or regard for human dignity. Many never left the facility, their bodies buried in unmarked graves scattered across the grounds. It is said that their spirits remain tethered to the asylum, unable, or unwilling, to escape the torment they endured in life. Today, Blackheath Asylum stands as a ruin, its corridors dark and silent save for the whispers carried on the wind. Yet, for those who dare to step inside, the building reveals a side that defies logic and reason. Paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers alike have reported strange occurrences throughout the site, from disembodied footsteps echoing down empty hallways to ghostly apparitions glimpsed in the flickering candlelight. Among the most frequently cited locations of activity are the isolation cells, the operating theater, and the labyrinthine basement, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead seems to blur into uncertainty. One particularly chilling account comes from a group of paranormal enthusiasts who conducted an overnight investigation during a full moon. Armed with EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and audio recorders, the team ventured into areas typically off-limits to the public. Their goal was simple: to document any evidence of supernatural activity rumored to plague the site. What they encountered, however, would haunt them forever. The footage begins innocently enough, with shaky camera angles capturing the intricate carvings of the tombstones and the rhythmic drip of condensation from the crypts. Laughter echoes faintly as the group jokes about the ghost stories surrounding St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. But as they descend deeper into the maze-like pathways, the atmosphere shifts palpably. The air grows colder, their breath visible in the moonlight, and the laughter falters. At the 15-minute mark, the first anomaly appears. A faint, distorted voice whispers from the shadows, audible only when the audio is played back. None of the group seems to hear it in real time, yet the camera captures it with eerie clarity. Minutes later, the group enters the coffin house, a decrepit structure that once served as a repository for the deceased awaiting burial. The camera lingers on a rusted iron gate, its hinges frozen in place like the hands of a clock stopped mid-tick. Suddenly, the lights above flicker, casting erratic shadows across the walls. One of the investigators, visibly unnerved, mutters, "Did someone touch that?" before stepping back. No one had. The camera shakes violently as the group scrambles to leave the room, their panicked breathing filling the audio track. The climax occurs near the tomb of Marie Laveau, where the group had set up a makeshift observation post. Here, the camera captures something truly inexplicable: a translucent figure standing near the entrance, its form flickering like static on an old television. The figure raises an arm, pointing directly at the group before vanishing in an instant. The friends freeze, their faces pale with terror, before bolting toward the safety of their vehicle. The final moments of the video show them fleeing into the night, their screams echoing into the void. This chilling encounter, preserved in grainy footage, has since been analyzed by paranormal investigators and skeptics alike. Some argue that the anomalies could be explained by environmental factors, electromagnetic interference, or psychological suggestion, but others insist that the evidence points to something far more sinister. Whatever the truth may be, the St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 incident remains one of the most compelling examples of the supernatural caught on camera, a stark reminder that some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. Today, the cemetery continues to welcome visitors eager to experience its beauty and history. Yet, for those attuned to the whispers of the past, the graveyard offers more than just a glimpse into mortality. It provides a portal to a realm where the boundaries between the living and the dead blur into uncertainty. Whether you believe in ghosts or dismiss them as figments of the imagination, St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 stands as a testament to the enduring power of fear and the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of human understanding. Threads of the unseen, patterns in the shadows as we sift through the harrowing narratives of Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Route 60, Cheat Lake Cabin, and the enigmatic shadow at the Whispering Woods. A tapestry of eerie consistencies begins to emerge, weaving a complex pattern of supernatural phenomena. These stories, disparate in location and circumstance, share uncanny similarities that beckon us to look deeper into the nature of these haunting encounters. Firstly, the element of auditory disturbances manifests prominently across these accounts. From the whispering voices that plagued Sarah on Route 60 to the chilling whispers captured in the corridors of Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, sound plays a critical role in escalating the tension and unease. These auditory phenomena not only unsettle the witnesses but also serve as precursors to more tangible manifestations, suggesting a methodical escalation typical of intelligent hauntings. Visual anomalies form another thread connecting these tales. The ghostly apparitions seen through Hiroshi's camera at Akake Apartments, and the shadowy figure that stalked the Carter family are indicative of a spectral presence capable of interacting with our physical world. These visual cues are not random but appear to target specific locations and individuals, hinting at a conscious, albeit non-corporeal, intent behind these manifestations. Furthermore, the technological interference observed, from the malfunctioning ride controls of the vortex to the inexplicable camera glitches in the Carter home, points to a sophisticated manipulation of electromagnetic fields by these entities. This manipulation suggests a level of intelligence and purpose, reinforcing the theory that these are not mere echoes of the past but active, sentient forces attempting to communicate or influence their environments. Moreover, the psychological impact on the witnesses cannot be overlooked. Each account details a profound transformation in the mental state of those involved, from initial skepticism to overwhelming dread. This psychological shift is crucial as it indicates the entity's ability to affect human emotions and perceptions, further blurring the line between the physical and the metaphysical realms. Lastly, the geographical dispersion of these incidents, from the remote forests of upstate New York to the bustling streets of Tokyo and the suburban tranquility of Portland, raises intriguing questions about the universality of such phenomena. Are these isolated incidents, or do they represent a broader spectrum of supernatural activity occurring globally? The recurrence of similar themes and effects across diverse settings suggests a universal element to these encounters, possibly linked to human consciousness or the inherent properties of certain locations. In synthesizing these observations, we begin to see a framework of supernatural behavior that transcends individual stories. These shared characteristics not only validate the experiences of the witnesses but also provide a foundation for further exploration into the mechanisms and motivations of these mysterious entities. As we continue to gather and analyze such cases, the patterns become clearer, drawing us closer to understanding the enigmatic forces that dwell in the shadows of our reality. As we draw this chilling journey to a close, let us pause to reflect on the profound implications of the stories we've explored. These harrowing encounters, etched into the annals of recorded history through grainy footage, distorted audio, and fragmented memories, are more than mere curiosities. They are stark reminders that the boundaries of our understanding are far more permeable than we dare to admit. The supernatural, whether it manifests as ghostly apparitions, shadowy figures, or malevolent forces, challenges the very foundations of what we consider reality. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that there are dimensions beyond our perception, realms where the rules of logic and physics dissolve into the unknowable. These documented events serve as undeniable proof that the unseen is not merely a figment of imagination or a product of overactive minds. They compel us to reevaluate our relationship with the spaces we inhabit, the tools we use, and even the technology we rely on. Consider the cameras that capture these phenomena. Devices designed to record the tangible, yet they have inadvertently become portals to the intangible. The footage from Blackwood Asylum, Route 47, Alcacabe Apartments, and the shadow at 1428 Maple Street does more than document the supernatural. It invites us to question the limitations of human perception. Are these anomalies glitches in our reality, or are they deliberate attempts by otherworldly entities to bridge the gap between their world and ours? Yet, the implications of these encounters extend far beyond the individual stories themselves. Collectively, they paint a picture of a universe teeming with mysteries that defy explanation. Each incident, whether rooted in sorrow, tragedy, or malevolence, suggests a connection between the living and the dead, the seen and the unseen. The whispers in the asylum, the phantom hitchhiker on the desolate road, the cursed lens of Hiroshi's camera, and the shadow that stalked the Carter family, all of these point to a shared truth, that the past is never truly gone, and the spirits of those who came before may linger, tethered to places, objects, or even emotions. This realization carries a weight that extends beyond fear. It speaks to the enduring bonds between humanity and the metaphysical, urging us to approach the unknown with both caution and reverence. But what does this mean for us, the observers, the storytellers, and the seekers of truth? It means that we must embrace the uncertainty. The supernatural, by its very nature, resists definition. To study it is to wade into waters where science falters and faith takes root. Yet, it is precisely this ambiguity that makes the pursuit worthwhile. Each unanswered question, each unexplained phenomenon, is an invitation to explore further, to dig deeper into the archives of the unexplained, to listen to the whispers of the past, and to peer into the shadows that dance just beyond the edge of our vision. For those who dare to venture into this realm, the rewards are manifold. The thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of piecing together fragments of the unknown, and the profound sense of awe that comes from brushing against the edges of the inexplicable, all of these make the pursuit of the supernatural a journey worth undertaking. Whether you are a skeptic seeking evidence, or a believer yearning for validation, the stories we've shared today remind us that the search for truth is rarely linear. It is messy, unpredictable, and often unsettling, but it is also deeply human. So, as we leave the shadows behind, for now, we invite you to carry the torch of curiosity. Question the world around you. Listen closely to the stories of those who have faced the unknown. And remember, the next time you pick up a camera, switch on a recorder, or even walk down a dimly lit street, you might just capture something that defies explanation. Because in the end, the supernatural is not merely a subject of fascination, it is a call to wonder, to explore, and to embrace the infinite possibilities that lie just beyond the veil. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unseen. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and never stop questioning the shadows.